guys, welcome to Film Learnin, the show dedicated to learning you some filmmaking and learning you good. Now you may ask yourself, why aren't I on the set as per usual, ready with the final episode of Dragon Ball Month? Well, there's a very simple reason. I've been playing this most of the week. Yes, Battletoads, an awesome but fairly difficult game. And as you know, it has some pretty sweet ways of taking out enemies, with this being one of them. Awesome. So today we're going to be recreating the Battletoads giant fist effect. In order to complete this effect, you need a shot of you throwing a punch, making sure you're wearing sleeves, and a separate still of your fist close up. Try to make sure your hand is in the same position. I took the still frame from mine on the green screen, but that's optional. I just wanted to avoid masking it out as we already have a bit of masking to do already. So, let's get to it, shall we? Here we are in good old After Effects. We've cut out our punch clip and set it up in a comp. Next, let's duplicate our footage. Scrub to the point in the clip where your arm is fully extended and not obscured by any motion blur. Grab the pen tool and let's mask around the sleeve of your jacket. You can finish it off as rough as you like. Let's turn that layer off for a second, head up to layer and add a new null object. Next, select the bottom footage layer and head over here to tracker and click track motion. Add a tracker to a good point on your hand or wrist. This looks pretty good. We'll then track to the end of the clip. Once done, click Edit Target, select your null, hit Apply, and OK. We now have our final motion tracked. We can now bring in our hand still below our masked footage. I've already got mine keyed out and ready to go. Remember, the hand is oversized, so we need to shrink the wrist to fit it into the sleeve. You can turn down the opacity on the top mask layer to get a better idea of how your progress is going. Let's head up to Effect, Distort, and grab the Liquify tool. Select the pucker tool, size it up a bit, and let's shrink our wrist down to fit all snug like in that sleeve. Nice. Okay, here's where things get a little tricky, but stay with me because this is a cool little trick to know. Let's add a new solid, make it the same size as the comp. From there, select the masked footage layer, copy the mask, and paste it onto the solid. Delete the mask from the footage layer and we'll grab the solid, hand, null, and footage, right click and select pre-compose. Still hanging in there? Good. At this point you can parent your hand to the null as well as the solid using the pick whip. Next, we'll select the solid and pre-compose again. From there, change the transfer mode on the pre-comp to silhouette alpha and BAM! You now have a motion tracked mask for the end of your shot. See, I told you it was cool. No more animating masks frame by frame. Now, let's do some frame by frame animation. First off, we'll trim the solid to start at the point your null begins animating. Hit Ctrl-Shift-D to split the clip and delete the beginning half. Now let's animate the movement and scale of the hand going from our animation point to a transition point. Hit S on the keyboard to bring up scaling and hit the stopwatch. From there, going frame by frame, hit the stopwatch on both position and rotation controls and use them to match the movement of your actual hand as best you can. You can also turn the opacity down on your hand layer so you can better see your actual hand to match its movements. Once you're done with that, turn on motion blur for the layer on the comp. Now that your hand animation's done and motion blur's on, select your transition point, basically the start of the punch. Hit Ctrl-Shift-D and delete the excess. Hit S again and scale your hand layer to around the same size as your actual footage hand. You may have to adjust your position and rotation to suit the rapid size expansion. And let's check out a RAM preview. Not bad. Once your hand animation's done, you may find that you need to adjust the mask along the sleeve. To do this, head back into your pre-comp and drag a few more frames back from your black solid. Hit MM and hit the stopwatch on mask path and just go frame by frame adjusting that mask until your animation point. You shouldn't have to animate more than just a few frames. Luckily, most of it will be hidden with motion blur as the transition only lasts for a few frames. Once that's done, head back to the comp and if you like you can grab the text tool and add a score coming off the fist when it hits the target. Trim the text clip at the point of the punch, hit P on the keyboard, head to the end of the clip, and then move the text up a touch. Once you're all done, you should have something that looks like this. So that's the Battletoads giant fist punch. It's not crazy hard, and being able to motion track mask layers is a big deal and will eliminate a lot of tedious frame by frame animation. And hey, this effect isn't only for punches either. You can do it for kicks if you want to as well. Now onto that announcement I've mentioned for the last couple of weeks. It's a little something I've been working on, so here's a tease. Now let me just mention that the pack is a subscriber only exclusive, so if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, here's your chance. The fighting pack hits on June 14th, so be sure and keep up to date by following me on Twitter or check out our Facebook page below. If you have a request, throw it in the comments section, be sure to like up and share the video, and as always my friends, keep learning!